Just a quick update. Good to see so many faces here, first and foremost. A quick update, Andrew Booth was limited today, and we're going to go ahead and list him doubtful for the game. Zadarius Smith, also limited, did practice today, and he's questionable for the game. So obviously, great to get on the ground here. Guys had a good practice coming off of our flight. Good meetings today. Continue our process and prep for a really good football team this weekend. But with that, I'll open it up to you guys.
To what extent are you trying to create like a sense of normalcy with this practice, and to what extent are you breaking like being overseas in a different time zone? All that stuff?
Yeah, we once we got here, it felt like a pretty normal Friday for us. We had our normal amount of meetings, took care of installing some things in the red zone, and then what we call a fast Friday practice. Where we get out and execute some of those things, and then obviously start getting to the point late in the week here where we can kind of put a bow on the plan and have our guys feel good about it. But no, we're trying to make this as normal as possible. These guys are in their routines by the day throughout the season. We've had the benefit really of playing at 4 different game times now, body clock wise, Monday Night Football, late window, the opener, and then obviously last weekend at 12 o'clock at US Bank. So our guys are just adjusting on the fly. We'll continue to find our rhythm, but I feel good about where we're at.
Kevin, how much was Zadarius able to do today, and what will be the kind of the indicator that tells you whether he's able to go?
Yeah, he got reps in the team period. We kind of split between 7-on-7 and team down in the red zone, and then have some extended team kind of jog through reps at the end there. He got a little bit of everything, and I think it's just really coming off the flight, wanted to see how he felt. Got him a little bit more of an extended warm-up with Tyler and Uriah, and then he was able to come down and take part in a good amount of practice. And really, he truly will be probably a game-time decision, just how he feels and making sure that he's one of our most important players, obviously, but I want him to feel good about playing and feel like he can be his normal self. And I think he's trending that way, but will be a game-time decision.
Coach, the Vikings are one of the 6 teams that are focusing on building a new UK fan base.
Yeah.
With that in mind, how important is it to put on a show and get a good win on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I know, our ownership and our organization, we feel very strongly about, continuing to build our great fan base. I've already felt it early on. We haven't been here long, but expecting to see a lot of Vikings fans here. Obviously at the game on Sunday, but just trying to we had a great, I think we had over 100 plus kids, out for a football clinic today, and they were fired up. Their families out here, and our guys got a chance to spend some time with them pre-practice. So just as much as we can connect while we're here, our organization, in my opinion, does a great job, whether we're back home or we're, abroad here, and it's really important to us because I think our players, they love being able to feel the passion of Vikings fans, and to be able to do it really all over the world is something we're really excited about. So it's really important. Good question.
The Vikings are going to be the first team to play in all 3 venues that have been used in London. With that in mind, how do you think that can make, and how the Vikings' relationship with London, do you think that could make it feel like more of a home game for you guys?
Yeah, I think, it's something we take a lot of pride in, and really no matter where we go, you feel our fan base traveling and being a part of it. But to have, the home base fans here, I think it's a great point about really being in all 3 venues. And we're technically the road team this Sunday, but hoping to see a lot of purple in the stands, and already have, and really like your hat there, obviously. But no, I think it's a great point and something that we're excited about, and obviously excited about this venue this time.
Coach, you talked about sort of addressing and evaluating Justin and sort of the way defenses are playing. And
Yep.
What have you guys looked at in terms of keeping him involved in a game where the last 2 games he hasn't really been?
Yeah, I think, it's one thing for defenses to have kind of a plan within the normal ways that they play defense, but I give a lot of credit to the last 2 teams we played. They've had a real, tight plan for him and kind of aware of where he is on the field at all times and adjusted accordingly. We'll continue to find things within our offense, but also, we're going to do some different things with him and just always, try to put him in the best possible situation for success, and ultimately we feel really strongly about his ability to win in one-on-one matchups, and He's seen some physical coverage early on in the season, and that's been I think a really good thing for him as he kind of continues to add to his toolbox of snap in and snap out, how to win, how are we helping him win, which is a really important thing. And then ultimately that rhythm with Kirk, to be able to play out those looks with him and obviously be aggressive to him because he's a real weapon for us and will continue to be week in and week out.
And then if I can follow up, likely going to see Andy Dalton with Jameis doubtful actually.
Yeah.
Didn't practice this week. What are your thoughts on Andy?
Yeah, I've had a lot of respect for Andy for a long time. I thought that was, something that I took note of this offseason when he ended up going there, and you knew they'd have some real great options at the quarterback position. But what a guy like Andy does, who has won playoff games, obviously started a ton of games in this league, he's just going to be able to step right in and not only run their offense at a really high level, knows how to distribute the ball. He's very accurate. Guy, when he's played that much football, you don't expect there to be any kind of nerves. We got to be ready to go from the jump, and we want to get off to a fast start defensively in the football game. And we know with their skill players and the type of offense they're capable of, we got our hands full, especially with Andy, running the show and getting them in and out of bad plays into good plays and having that ownership that you expect a veteran guy like that to have.
How important is it to get Osborne and Thielen involved early?
Yeah, I think it's important. One of the things I was telling our coaches this week was, it's a good problem to have. Stacy obviously asking about Justin and then questions about getting Adam and KJ going, and then we want to get the run game going. Unfortunately, when our offense is at its best, it's rhythm, it's snaps, and to be able to do all those things, not always easy to do when, if you have limited snaps in the first half. That's why we got to be great on third down. We got to possess the football. And get those guys going within the rhythm of our offensive philosophy, which requires all 5 eligibles to come to life in the pass game, requires us to be able to run the football and marry the run and the pass together, to kind of be in that attack mode. I think it's a great point, and really what we've talked a lot about as an offense, and Kirk has talked a lot about, is just going, making the right decisions with the football based upon our progressions are set up, not for one person, not for one player, but really to have the open guy get the ball, and really the coverage dictates that a lot of the time.
How are you feeling about Dalvin?
I feel good. He had a good day yesterday, full practice, and then obviously got on the plane, was ready to go today, had a good practice today, so Dalvin's excited about the opportunity this weekend.
Kevin, when Justin's getting pressed the way he has been in the last couple of weeks, what kinds of things can you guys do to, mitigate that or get him free releases when teams are doing the way they are doing?
Yeah, I think it depends on the scheme, the concept. I think sometimes you like the press coverage and can really either play off that with a complimentary route stem for Justin and him having a great plan at the line of scrimmage. I fully expect him to see a lot more of that. We're playing one of the premier secondaries with a lot of really good players, and obviously with Marcus Lattimore, this guy's the real deal, and Justin knows that. It's going to be a big-time challenge for him. And then when we can help him, getting him involved in groupings with Adam and KJ and Irv and the rest of our guys in formations where he's in different spots and moving around, motions, different things to just apply pressure pre-snap to the defense and try to get Justin an even playing field by the time the ball snapped. It's hard to get him an advantage with how people are kind of playing him and dictating some coverage to him, but where can we help him get an edge, at least pre-snap, to let him go be himself and just play fast?
Coach, obviously the Saints have got off to a slow start in games now. Have you sort of looked at that to try and capitalise?
Yeah, I think we always want to try to get off to a fast start. I know they do as well. I mean, that's something that really all teams look forward to doing. But in our minds and in our mindset, it's really about whatever phase starts the game for us. We want that group to start fast. We want them, if it's defense, let's get a stop and try to get the best possible field position we can. If it's offense, let's sustain a drive like we did really going back to the opener and try to at least schematically, apply pressure. But, when you can get a lead early or you can win the field position even early, a lot of times that can dictate some of the situational decisions we get a chance to make kind of as the first half dwindles down, and we can kind of be aggressive in that mode, knowing we're getting the ball to start the second half, or maybe we're not, and now we need to maximize our opportunities in the second quarter. But it's just about momentum, who can capture it, and then more importantly, sustain it. That's why I was so excited last week, just because sometimes against good teams in this league, and everybody's competitive against everybody with how our league is set up. So you're going to have to overcome some adversity. 2 double-digit deficits in that game last week, and our guys just kept playing, and within the rhythm and timing and kind of success of our offense, it will come. We obviously want to be as complete and consistent as possible to avoid some of those lapses, but sometimes you got to, give the defense credit, make some adjustments, and go try to win the game in the end.
Coach, how exciting is it to have both Daniil and Zadarius Smith as key points of your defense, especially because they can move across the line and play different positions?
Yeah, I think it's a great point that, how we are moving those guys, and they can have a real role against the run and the pass from different spots. We really envisioned, and going back a long time with Kwesi, when we talked about adding a guy like Za'Darius, alongside Daniil, and with having Harrison and Dalvin as those, kind of focal point interior guys, we really envisioned, that unit playing a lot of snaps together and having a lot of success. And then now it's about, in my opinion, it's about those guys continuing to set the standard that they have while infusing some, the DJ Wanhams and Pat Jones and some of our depth inside to not only, so those guys don't have to play 60, 70 snaps every single week. And then we like our depth at some of those spots, which only make everybody better.
Harrison Smith's back from his concussion this week, I believe. How
Yep.
important is his ability and his experience to the effectiveness of the defense?
Yeah, it's huge. It goes back, to the initial kind of installation of how we want to play. Harrison running the show back there and really being in a lot of areas of our defense, maybe aligning in the same spot a lot of times to start the play, but how he affects the game and his understanding and instincts of being able to do a lot of jobs for us is really huge. I thought Josh Metellus did a great job last week, really filling that potential void for us. But to have Harry back and know we can pair him with Cam and Josh and Lou back there, that we feel really good about those safeties now, and we put a lot on their plate to really continue to kind of progress within our defense and build upon where we're at with the scheme to be as competitive as possible.
Last few questions for Kevin.
Coach, on the subject of concussions, I know with the travel you've had a chance to see the situation with Tua Tagovailoa from last night.
Just heard about it. We did not have television on the flight. Thank goodness everybody got some sleep. But I've just heard about it, and I know, having kind of gone through kind of the process and protocols with Harrison, post game with his, it's just obviously very, very important that we rely on those protocols that have been set up by very, very smart people and experienced people in our league. And then obviously our doctors and our medical staff, we will always defer, to whatever their recommendations are, because I just think it's way too important with the education and the understanding now of concussions and the long-term implications of those, that we're smart with players and put their player health and safety is always a main priority and a focal point for us. But, no more important topic than obviously concussions and people's health from that standpoint. So we'll always defer to the doctors and the protocols and just make sure absolutely that guy has cleared protocols, and really the player also has to feel good and ready to go as well.
Coach, do people make too much of you guys coming in, or a team coming in on a Friday, 2 days ahead of the game? Do people make too much of it with the time change, or is it a real thing, and what are the tricks that you're going to impose upon your team to be ready to go Sunday?
Yeah, I think it's, team to team, Stacey, I really do. And I just, I can just say and reiterate the, Tyler and Uriah and our staff, they put in a lot of time talking to a lot of different people. And I know, the personal experiences, everybody's had late travel, everybody's had travel to different time zones. We spent a lot of time talking about how we were going to handle it, not only leading up to when we got on the plane yesterday, but now that we're here, the type of, scheduling, the players were really off the plane and right into an activation this morning. Then we had meetings, and then we got them going and really had a pretty lively practice with those guys bouncing around. And now, as I told them, the hard part's over from a preparation standpoint. We got an unbelievable challenge against a good team on Sunday, but from here on out, we are here. We are getting in recovery mode now and locking in the plan. And I thought the players handled it great, but the time and energy and effort put into it, a lot of smart folks, a lot smarter than me, helping to build the schedule that we felt is our number one priority, is always in the best interest of the player. And then ultimately, what's it going to be like for us post-game as we transition early on in the season? We're not going to have the bye. We'll go right into a home game. All of that went into planning what we thought was best for our team, and I feel good about it so far.
Last question.
There seems to be a lot of positivity coming from the players and media about your since you've taken over. So
Thank
kudos
you.
to you. But what's your secret?
I don't think there is a secret. I really don't. I think it stems from a couple things. Obviously, previous 2 years around a head coach that I worked for in Los Angeles, who I have the utmost respect for, X's and O's wise. But I think it goes so much further than that. I think it's really important to understand culture and what's your goal for the culture in your building. What the work environment you want your players to be around every day. And I just know, having had success in what I considered a great culture there, I have not wasted a moment wanting that to be our staple here is our culture and our people. We have talented players, we have great coaches, we've got unbelievable support around our team. But ultimately, I feel like if we put these great players and coaches in an environment where every day, they can be the best versions of themselves by the environment they come to, I feel that's an advantage for us. And ultimately, when adversity does hit, as it did last Sunday at our home stadium, one of the reasons why I think that there was not a lot of flinch out of our players. There was no finger pointing. There was no blame going on. There was just a group that just got tighter and just said, we just got to get a little bit better. We just got to do things a little better. Rely on the guy next to you. And we were able to overcome a couple deficits there. But appreciate you asking the question. It's something that's really important to me. And I am very lucky to have the leadership we have here on our team that we inherited that help us get that done on a daily basis.
Thanks, everyone. We'll have Kirk Cousins here next, then we have Zadarius Smith,